All right, welcome back, Be Better Tribe. This is your host, Julian Alvarez. This podcast is designed to reflect on leadership journeys, stories, lessons that I've learned along the way, as well as individuals that I'm connected with have learned. And this one podcast is extremely special to me because I'm going to be inviting on one of my really close friends for the past 20 years, Anton Peterlin. And the reason why this is so special for me is because Anton and I shared the midfield together. We both played at UC Santa Cruz and Cal Poly. We met at UC Santa Cruz about 20 years ago, and I was lucky enough where Anton stayed at me and my parents' house for the duration of our camp before we moved into the dorms. So him and I became quick friends, and then throughout college, we played together right in the middle, and it was special for me because Anton is such an amazing player. I felt like for me, it made my college career so great because he was the one that was, cleaning up the mess. He allowed me to play the way that I needed to because I always knew Anton had my back. He was such a hard worker. He was an amazing captain. He was somebody that we could always rally behind. And he was such a high achiever. Now reflecting back over the last 20 years, Anton went from playing Cal Poly, San Luis Obispo, which is D1. We had a great run, but then he jumped from that level all the way up to playing the reserves in the English Premier League, which is the number one league in the world. And so to me, that's such an inspiring story. And I'm in awe and such a big fan of that jump that he made. And luckily for me, I was able to go see him play. And we're going to talk about that during our conversation. But Anton is somebody that's really special to me, obviously being a really close friend of mine, somebody who I can reflect with, who I can chat with, who I can call. And I know he's always going to have my back. And then the second thing is he's such a high achiever, like I mentioned earlier. Anton went on from Cal Poly to play in the EPL reserves. From there, he then played in other leagues throughout Europe. And after that, he now became a doctor and he's a surgeon. And so it's like two of the hardest things to do. Anton's achieved it. And it's just great for me to be able to learn from him, be inspired by him. And again, just be a big fan of Anton. And here's a picture of us way back then. That's 20 years ago. So if you're on the YouTube or you're checking out the video, yeah, that's us when we were kids, way back in our early 20s. But Anton is special. He's an amazing person. He's an amazing friend. And I'm excited to ask questions and talk with him on the Be Better Tribe podcast. But before we do that, feel free to visit our website, bebettertribe.com. You can pick up this gear. You could also pick up the habit tracker. Again, I think it's a way for you and others to stay on track with what you're trying to achieve. So if you're interested, please go ahead and pick that up. Second thing is if you can like, comment, and subscribe and pass it along to any of your friends and family. Always looking for more subscribers, as well as individuals that you think might find this podcast something they might find this podcast meaningful for them. So hopefully you can pass it along. That would be fantastic. But let's go ahead and jump in. I wanted to welcome in Anton Peterlin. All right, Be Better Tribe. I have the pleasure of introducing and welcoming Anton Peterlin. Anton is someone who's extremely special to me. We've been friends for, Anton, going on 20 years, a little over 20 years. We met in 05, 06. So yeah, at least 20 years. And it's amazing. It's so funny. The story goes, Anton and I joined UC Santa Cruz soccer team. We got recruited to play there. And I show up as a local from Santa Cruz to UC Santa Cruz. And our coach, the way it works is all the freshmen go in and we go to training camp. And then all the freshmen get placed in everyone's house. And little did I know that we had a freshman being placed at our house because I was a local player. And so Anton was placed and it was amazing. Anton fit into our family. He became like a brother to me. It's funny. My dad sometimes says he's the son that he's never had because Anton is such an amazing person. But it was such a fun way to get introduced, get connected. And then from there, Anton, we played four years together across two different colleges. We played at UC Santa Cruz. We played at Cal Poly. And then we've been able to stay friends. I think it's a true testament to who you are as a person and our connection. And we've been able to see that you and I both have 3 little ones. I have 3 boys. You got twin boys and a girl. And what's best is I was your teammate for 4 years, but I think I then turned into your biggest fan as you continue to like progress. And I know that might be hard for you to think
Oh,
about, but like I am so honored and touched, and it's such a cool thing for me. I think I brag more about you than anyone else, and it's needed. And the reason I brag is some of the questions that I'm going to outline here. But it's a pleasure to have you on, Anton. And thank you so much for joining the Be Better Tribe.
thank Jules. I've just been excited about this podcast, and it's been great. And yes, like Julian says, we've been friends for plus 20 years, and I'm part of the family. I go over and have meals with Melina and the family when I'm there, and it feels like we've never really missed a step since we live in Denmark. We're many, many miles away, but we're still very, very close. So yeah, thanks,
Yeah, I
Jules.
love it. I love it. Yeah, well, welcome in, man.
Yeah,
Let's start off in the beginning. So you and I
yeah.
both played at UC Santa Cruz. We transferred to Cal Poly together. And then the biggest leap of, I think, soccer is we played college together at Poly, and then you get a
Mm,
trial out in Everton.
yeah.
And what is amazing is that trial turned into you actually getting signed for a year to play within that Everton organization. And so walk me through that. How did that happen? What went into there? And when did you realize you were actually going to sign the dotted line and actually become
Mhm.
an Everton player?
Yeah. Just to kudos to you, Julian, before we jump into the Everton, I just want to let you guys all know that Julian actually is the one that I was actually called Alex before I was called Anton because of UC Santa Cruz. And Julian was like, there's too many Alexes. And it's just like, you know what? Your name's Anton. Let's call you Anton. So he's actually one of them that actually was the first time that I went by Anton as my first name. So kudos to you, Julian, by giving me the identity or giving me a new identity at that point. So just kudos to you. Just a little
I love it.
sidebar, but which is also very true how other things happen. But Everton, you and I played a Ventura Fusion, if you remember that, Jules, and we had Graham Smith as a
Yep.
coach. And in the summer, we were down there. We would sit in a bedroom with our mattress on the floor, and then Graham Smith is also sidebarred as an agent or has an agent friend back in England, and he knew David Moyes. And he's then got me a trial for 10 days at Everton, and we posted up at the Marriott in England and had 10 days of trials, and it was amazing. We were there. It was an indoor facility for the most part in March. Incredible, incredible facility, Finch Farm. And I was there. I played for 10 days, and David Moyes sat me down on the last day of the trial and was like, you know what, Anton, we'd love to have you for a year. You'll be primarily with the reserves. And of course, it's like, you're a little bit older than the rest. We usually sign players around 17, and I was, I think, 21 at the time. So I already knew I was 4 years older than the most of the players that are there, but he was like, we'd love to give you a shot. And, you have a great attitude. And that's how it happened. I signed actually right then and there pretty much in England before I went back to the States, and where I met up with you guys on spring break, or I forgot it was after or before, but it was one of those two. And then we celebrated there, but then I went to, England that summer and July 1st.
That is insane. Because
Mm-hmm.
Anton, the road to play professional, like I think there was a couple different individuals from Cal Poly that were trying to test their waters. Like I went on a couple, like we call it like what showcases.
Yeah,
There's a couple other teammates that went on showcases, and it was hard to get our footing at that moment. I feel like
that
the
was.
MLS cut the reserves, and so like
Mm.
I feel like you and I, you were like obviously you were down. Did you know after Cal Poly you wanted to go professional soccer? Like, can you walk me through your mindset of like going into those trials and really putting your 100% effort forward? Was that like the dream that you always like were striving for of like making it to the pros?
Well, and it's also, I mean, this is all about football and sports. It's also like a lot
Yep.
about age. I mean, there's a few players like Jamie Vardy who made being a professional very late in his career. But I mean, honestly, the most part is when you're young and you become very good professionals, and it's only a time based. And I went through college and I was like, I love playing football with you and the boys at Cal Poly with Franco and everyone else. And it was just a dream of mine to be able to play. And I knew I had to give it a shot. And so I went to England with the
Yeah.
mindset like, if I get a chance, I'm gonna do it, and I can always go to, which I did later, medical school, because actually you can always read and study as you get older, but as you get your body. But it was a mindset I really, really wanted to do it, and it was always a dream to go to Europe and play football ever since I started playing soccer, when I was a youngster in Denmark.
I
So
love it. I love it,
mm,
Anton. And like, what a leap of faith, man. You went from college soccer, which let's be honest, it's a lower tier level of soccer, and that's where I
yeah,
find so much inspiration here. Like
mm,
in terms of the world, obviously we just had the World Cup here in the United States.
yeah,
You just see this different level of like
mm,
development in youth soccer and in
yeah.
sports. And so like from you to go to Cal Poly to Everton is such an amazing thing. And so my next question is, you're
Mm,
suddenly going from playing with me, which look, I love soccer. I
I tried my hardest, but I'm 5'7" and I'm not that fast. And like, you go
Oh,
from me to like playing with absolute legends, world class
yeah.
individuals on a
Mm,
day in and day out experience. And so,
mm,
can you walk me through
yeah.
what that looked like? Like, tell me about like their habits, what
Mm.
separated those individuals from anyone else? Like, what was it like to play there as an individual?
I mean, I think you remember playing football, soccer back in the States when we were younger. It was primarily also YMCA camps and mostly like women's, it was girls back in the day. It was like for us. And so us learning football, soccer was mostly on the streets and stuff like that. But also there wasn't that much like basic training, which you do in Europe where now I'm exposed to, where you teach kids check your shoulder every single time before you get at age 5.
Totally.
And it's, and it's a much different environment than what we grew up in when we just went out to play, had barely enough, where it was. So the big difference was is when I came to or to Finch Farm and Everton was their work ethic. I mean, they would come at 7 a.m. and work out, and Sylvan Distin and Stephen Pinar and Tim Cahill, they came very early and had a very good camaraderie, but as well on the pitches, they were very, 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 very intelligent. And I think the biggest difference was playing, I mean, a huge difference, not only they're world class athletes, but like we played on a half a pitch, so on 11 v 11, but just half pitch, and we had one touch, and we'd play 11 v 11. And Steven Pinar and Yakubu and Makila Teda, they could turn, like they knew where everyone was at a certain part. So they could do what we could do with three
Mm,
touches with one touch. And then there's just their vocal, like they don't ever expend too much energy and they know where everyone is. And they're just very, very smart. And it's been from a very young age is where they're trained,
yeah.
which is the big difference, is the way they taught football in Europe compared to what we were taught in our age. I'm sure it's much different now than the States than it was now when we grew up, but back then it was much different. Also, in the Everton Academy, you see the way they develop. And for them as an Everton Academy, I talked to them because I was very interested. Is if they had one kid go from every age group up to the first team, then that was a success out of tens of thousands of players. So that's
Mm,
just the margin of, you know, that percentiles as a football
yeah.
academy. And so that was the
That's
big
crazy.
difference. Mm.
Yeah. So like
So,
what I'm hearing from you, like I agree. Me and you playing soccer at 8 to 9 years old was like for kids.
mm,
And now it's a fun game because
yeah.
it was easy to teach kids like here's a soccer ball, like run
Mm,
around, whatever, just play, have fun. And then when you got older, more popular sports, like they started to develop their craft. I
yeah.
feel like in the United States, like Anton, I had dad coaches until I was 16,
Yeah.
right? And
Agree.
God bless him.
No, no.
Thank you for doing that for us
Yeah.
because no one else would, and they were
Would. Mm,
volunteers. But like I think that shows like the dedication to the craft of like if you really want to go deep in something, you have to like
mm,
really dedicate yourself to develop. And even if you do that, the percentage to become professional is
mm,
so small. And like
mm,
that's why I'm like, dang, Anton, you were there. And so after you spent playing years professional in England,
mm,
you had ups and downs, right? You were in EPL as a reserve, and then
mm,
League One, Championship, League Two. And
yeah.
so as you're bouncing into those different leagues, you saw different
Mm,
levels of players, different ages.
mm,
What did you think about, or is there a story in there that you learned, or a teammate, or somebody that you really were inspired by because of their work ethic, their resilience, the handling of tough situations, or anything that you dealt with that like really helped you form like a strong habit or resilience to all of those obstacles to become a professional athlete? Because I feel like people always want to be the best, but they
mm.
don't realize what the
Work.
individuals have to do to actually
Mm,
get there. So anything that comes top of mind for you there?
mm. I mean, you say in a nutshell, Drew. I mean, there's a lot of players who play with the different leagues that had very good talent. I mean, I played with Bradley Wright Phillips. He also played in the New York Red Bulls. And one thing he had, maybe compared to his brother, Sean Wright Phillips, who's the more known at Manchester City, he was he worked very, very hard. He scored goals for Plymouth. And he was just, I think the biggest thing I learned was players that also put in the effort in beyond the field and also did like mental work. We had also at UC Santa Cruz, Jerry Lynch, I think it was, Julian, remember with the
Yep.
mental aspect of it.
Oh
And
yeah.
that's a big part as well in football because I mean, I think I try to teach my kids the same thing now is that like, you can have a bad one episode, but you can't just let it affect the rest of your game. And I think that's the big thing is that the professional athletes, I mean, you can see many professionals like their careers are ruined because of one game, but the great players always come back. But I think the lower leagues also is because the fans are so close and you have like tens of thousands of fans there, but they're just very close. So you have
Mm,
to be able to block out a lot of people and a lot of negativity, like a lot of
mm,
people hating on you for a lot of times until you get to where you want to be. I think that's the big one. What I learned was, and I also took it the rest of my life, is that you have to be your own advocate to put in the work to get to the point where you want to be, even though no one else maybe agrees or believes in you.
Yeah,
You
I
did.
love that. So like your biggest fan, you got to believe in yourself. You got to have that self-confidence. You have to really be an internal motivator for yourself and not let noise get into you. And like you said, social media now, it's taking a whole nother element of like hatred and
Yeah.
just like people being mean, which is not fun. And I loved how you brought up your kids and like trying to instill that growth mindset and just being able to get over those humps and obstacles. And sports psychology is huge. And so what I gathered there is in order to play in any of those leagues, you got to be talented. Like you just got to be talented. Then you have to work your tail off about the sport. And then the third thing that I think is really, really important here is you got to work what's between your ears is the mental aspect of you have to really be able to overcome a lot of self-doubt and a lot of people pointing the finger at you, which is, I think, extremely important. So I really appreciate you sharing that.
I'm also going to say that there's also a good network. I remember countless times where you, Julian, you helped me at Cal Poly, where there was a few games where our head coach, Paul, he was a very, very good guy, but he was also a very tough guy, old school.
He was a tough coach. He was on this podcast and him and I was like, geez, Paul, like, I don't know if I had a coach. I enjoyed that style of coaching. It's just because I had the thick skin, but like, man, he rode us hard, huh?
He did, and you were there for many times to pick me up, and that's what also very important in life is to have people to help you pick up in the times where you need it. So
yeah, teammates, people that you could talk to, people you can lean on that aren't going to like, here's what I would say, Anton. I don't know how you feel about it, but aren't going to let you like self-doubt yourself, like talk negatively about yourself and be like, no, it was hard. Maybe we didn't play well enough, but like we can do this, like that we can attitude for sure. All right. So one of the other things that like, look, man, you went from college soccer, again, lower level to like the top, and you're playing against amazing people. And one of the coolest memories that I have on a soccer field is not even me playing. It was you on the reserves playing against Manchester United. And you should have had an assist and the guy missed it. And I was like standing up, cheering. And like, I was so proud of you of doing that. And that made me feel like, I don't know, I was just riding your coattail and it felt so good. But the thing that you did after that was you went back to medical school and you have now kind of created this amazing career in the medical industry where you're working with the Denmark United under 18 national team and some of those individuals. And like going to medical school is a testament within itself. Playing professional soccer is such a small percentage. So like, how did you do this, man? Like how do you continue to find so much success? And I know it's probably hard for you to say, but like, gosh, I would love just some sort of nuggets of like, what has inspired you to be such an amazing achiever?
See, I don't know. I guess I don't really feel it as much as I think you were building me up right now, Julian. But thank you.
Like, look,
I know.
You're a doctor. You're in Denmark. You work with the national team under 18s. You've done so many amazing things. You're publishing articles and you play professional football. So, sir, dude, please, you got your flowers here. Please give me a little bit of some of reflection back of like, what do you think some of the things that you've done that has helped you get there? How about that? How about like the habits that you instilled, the mindset, some books, whatever it is?
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I think the biggest thing is that a good group of friends was always a good back to. And I think also the core mentality of good work habits is important. I think it's instilled by my parents. They taught me that if you have good work habits and you don't burn bridges and you keep working your best and do your best, you'll get somewhere in your life. And even though the hard times get hard, but you will get through it. And I think going to medical school and playing semi-professional football in Denmark at the same time was a great opportunity to us to be effective in like using your time effectively during the day. It might not be the most productive, but if you get some things done and have small goals, I think then you reach bigger goals in grand scheme of things. Like you have one article, then you have another article, and then I think if you good networking too, as I was doing, like this is another testament to you. You're doing this better tribe thing where you meet people, you introduce people to other people, and I think it's a good testament to who you are and also what I think people are also very important in life is networking. And I think you come a long way about who you meet. And I got this gig by being U18 because of my orthopedic attending consultant at Paolo, and he was like, "You want this gig?" And I was, "I'd love this gig." And it's because of my work ethic and the way I'm as a doctor that I presented this challenge. And then my PhD also gave me the opportunity to do that. So in all, everything is it's opening doors. And I think that's a big testament to is that if you do work and you're a good person, in my opinion, also as well, doors will open.
Yeah, I love that. And so, good group of people. And I think, you know, what's fun, like good group of people and then you got to work your tail off. You got to take one step forward at a time. Like, you are always such a big worker for our team. Like, no one could like poke holes through the work ethic that you had, whether that was at practice on the field. And I think you've translated it into the professional practice, which is really cool. And so, like, Anton, when you think about, for me, at least, I've had struggles with this where it's like, I love playing soccer. I love playing football. I love playing with my teammates. I love the camaraderie and the aspect of that. Work has been great as well, and I love networking and all of that. But sometimes, Anton, it's hard to take those one steps forward when it's like things that you don't absolutely love sometimes. So is there anything where, you can lean back onto of like a habit or a skill set or a book or a quote or anything that has helped you like stay true to being consistent with your work habits?
Ooh, I mean, I wish I had. I'm in a Danish book club now, and we read a lot of good books about different things. And I think we just read Ernest Hemingway's books, and it's a very interesting. But I'm not sure if a quote can help me. But I think what I do realize is that, like you said, hard work. If you put the hard work in, a lot of things will good happen. Like today, it's working, and I think my day was an absolute. So to be honest, it was a very, very hard day. But tomorrow I have a nice day where I get to operate a lot of good patients, and me doing that opportunity allows me to tomorrow to sit and do what I really love to do, is operate. And so I think sometimes you bite the bullet, and sometimes it's a few days, sometimes it's a day. But I think it's like you're just working hard. But I don't have a quote. But I just
That's
know
fine.
that I just feel like it's just a work ethic kind of thing that kind of instills what you do. And I think it's something that we learned. And if you don't work hard, you don't. I mean, no matter what, if you don't put the work in, you never really get anywhere. So
Yeah. So what I walked away with that is like, you're going to have bad days.
yeah,
Bad days are going to come, but if you continue to work hard and you continue to put one step forward, you are going to have the days that are really extremely fulfilling and all that.
yeah, sure. That is very
One
true.
thing that I want to double down on is the group of friends that you have. So obviously you moved out. We had a group of friends at Santa Cruz. Then we had a group of friends at Cal Poly. We still have connection from our alumni at Cal Poly, where we have a group of friends that still communicate, still talks. And then you have your Denmark crew. You have your other friends. Like, so you have these pockets of really connected people. And it seems like you've surrounded yourself with really good, strong people.
Yeah.
Any advice for individuals of like how to create a network in new settings? Because the settings are going to change and you want to continue to build that network around those settings. And so anything that because I know you've done it. So advice for people that have done it or to do it.
Well, I mean, the biggest thing I think I found was that when I came to Denmark, my cousin was here and he was the same age as me. And I think I locked onto him when I went with his group of friends. So then I got introduced to the Danish culture that way. And my Danish wasn't as good as it is now. And so I got open that way. And then also football opens up many doors. I mean, everyone loves to play sports. So you have the camaraderie and you love to win together and you go out and drink some beers together. And just by pair defaults, you just get a community by being in a football team. That's the first thing. And the second thing is that if you do something you really enjoy, like medicine that I do, you then become associated with the department or whatever. And it's very easy to become friends with people that you enjoy doing the work with. So I think that's the thing. If you love something you do, you can much, much easier open doors. But I also joined salsa classes when I was first in Denmark.
You've always liked that stuff, dude.
Well,
You've always done like a little eclectic, like fun things or outside of the norms. Like, tell me more about that.
No, it's just, we did like, there's many clubs that you can do, like you can do running clubs, you can do salsa club, but it just feels like if you put yourself out there and you meet different people, and then it's just much easier if you do some activity of some sort instead of just, trying to go out to a place and knocking on a door and say, hi, how are you? Want to be a friend? But just if you do something together and have some type of passion, it's much easier to become friends and struggle with them or enjoy a new hobby. Then that's what my recommendation or my guidance would be, to do that, especially in a different country.
I love that. And so like one is like use your current network, build off of that.
Yeah.
And then the two other things was like, if you're passionate about something, connect with people within that passion. Like you love playing football, you join a team, dive into that, make some friends.
Exactly.
You love medicine, talk to other doctors, have lunch with them, like build those connections. Like don't just sit back, do the work, but build it in areas that you like. I love that. And then also what you said, step outside your comfort zone, meet new people, like be uncomfortable, do things that are like, they could be fun and just take a challenge. And like, I love that. And you've always been that way. I feel like you've always done that, which is such a great, something great about you is like, you're willing to like try things. Like you have this, courage about you of like, you don't care if like it makes you look goofy, or you're like, whatever, I'm going to do it. I'm going to have fun. And if it works out, it works out. If it doesn't, I'm going to do something else. And so I love that about you, man. That's
Thanks,
awesome.
yeah. I actually just want to say a word about because my friend, I mean, you don't know, I don't know if you know him, but his name is Nick Murphy. I went to high school in San Francisco with him, and
Yep.
he did his PhD in Denmark, and then he hit me up, and we went to Yo's and I's wedding, and now he plays in the same men's league I do. We play every week, and it's the best league in Denmark, and he's had now that's his community is now our football team, and so
Yep.
for him it was a huge thing to come into something because everyone plays football, so you don't need to explain football to anyone. So he came in by default, you know what I mean? So you're accepted as long as you have, you know, the talent or at least the ability. So just, it's a cool story also. Now he comes our Thanksgiving in Denmark and now we do many things with him with the family. So that's
I
also
love that. Yeah, no, I remember Nick, him and
yeah.
I played against each other when we were growing up. Like he was
Yeah,
on a
yeah.
different club
He
team.
was.
And
Yeah.
then
Okay,
we
so.
reconnected when we were both at your guys' wedding,
Ah,
which
that's
is really
right.
fun.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, that's right.
And then, but it shows the small connections, right? Small
Yeah.
connections matter. Like a
Mm.
friend in high school that you would have never thought would
No,
move to
to
Denmark,
Denmark.
move to Denmark is
He's
now
not
a
even
really close
Danish.
friend.
I know.
And it's cool because you're using that one like football as the connecting point, but like you're just a good person and good things happen, right?
Sure, he's a good person. And if he wasn't a good person, I would not be friends with Nick.
Yeah,
So that's another
totally.
thing.
We and you know, across soccer teams, soccer teams, medicine, not everyone's good, and like you lose those connections, and life happens. And so I think the thing that's really important is be good. So Anton, I know it's late for you. You're in Denmark. I want to make sure we give some time back for you. And the last question that I always like to ask the individuals that I interview is, look, people are either trying to break into a career, break into a sport, break into something, or they're having a really tough time. They're having an obstacle. They're, you know, not on the right journey, and things maybe not falling in the right places. And so for anyone listening to this podcast, for anyone that is, you know, wants to grab some of that Anton knowledge, what advice would you give the youth, individuals that are having a hard time, or individuals trying to break into career? Is there any like pieces of advice that you would give to them?
Ooh, good question, Julian. If I were to go back, I would definitely have to say the biggest thing that has made a difference for me in my career, or also just in both my professional and my medical career, is that if you can have a good, I mean it, just like even social media is a huge thing now, and you can get, you know, but having a good group of people, because I don't forget how many times I talked to you and Grillo and Franco when I had hard times in England, because hard times come. I've had, you know, injuries with my hamstring, other stuff, and you get pushed out of the team and then getting back in. I'll never forget calling you guys at some random times and just having that talk with you guys and, you know, just getting those, you know, feedbacks. And sometimes when you think things are rough, talk to a person in need or ask someone else that's done it,
Oh,
thing like that. Because Grillo also asked me, Anthony Grillo, our friend, he asked me a few years ago, like, should I go back to law school, even though I'm a bit older? And I was like, hell yeah, I went back to medical school. It was the best decision ever. So he asked me there in his time, and I was definitely going to say, you know, I didn't. But I did the same thing also as a few times with Jose with my wife. I also, when I'm in times of needs, I think I will also go back and talk to her or you guys when there's definite things in my career or when you talked about. So I think it's being able to talk to people about big career changes and to opening up to maybe somebody maybe you don't think would be in that respect. So to be able to open up to someone and have someone else give you some advice is always a fresh insight to looking at things.
I love it. I love it. And so there's two things there that I want to make sure we highlight here. One is continuing to have that good network and the people that you can call, you can talk to, you can like pass ideas back and forth, and people that you trust, right? Really focus on establishing people that you care about, whether that's your friends, whether that's your family, whatever it is, have people that you can connect with. And how you build those connections was what we talked about for the last 5 minutes. Like, you got to build those connections. They don't just happen. You got to build them. And then the second thing, which I absolutely love, which I don't think we highlighted enough, it's like, if you're struggling, go connect with like maybe somebody that's struggling even further, because like, if you can give back and you can actually help somebody in need, it can ultimately shift your mindset, which I absolutely love. So thank you for sharing that, Anton. Appreciate it. All right. So, Anton, thank you so much for joining the Be Better Tribe podcast. Again, you're an amazing friend. You're an amazing person. You've achieved so much. I'm going to continue to be your biggest fan, and I'm going to continue to represent that Everton jersey that you gave me. Gosh, what is it? 18, 19 years ago. And I will never forget the memory of One of the best memories I ever had on the soccer pitch was actually when I wasn't even on it. It was when I was watching you play for the Everton reserves against Man United. So thank you so much, Anton, for giving me that journey. I love you, man. And look, 20 years of friendship is only the beginning, buddy. We got a lot more.
Thanks, Jules. I appreciate it.
All right. Thanks, man. Take care.
Bye.